7 men between the ages of 19 and 37 face multiple felonies, including murder, burglary, and retail theft.
America, I need to address something that's kind of been eating me up about this Chicago tragedy. We got a man dead, Mark Arcadia, 40 years old, father of 2, killed because some thugs decided to rob a Louis Vuitton store. His wife was literally in the hospital giving birth to their second child when he was murdered by criminals fleeing from stealing just stuff. But here's what's really sick. The same people who usually make excuses for this kind of crime have gone completely silent. Where's the community outrage? Where's the protests? Where's the hashtags demanding justice for an innocent father?
Seven people are facing first-degree murder charges after a smash-and-grab burglary on the Mag Mile ends in a deadly crash. Police say a pickup truck slammed into a Louis Vuitton store on North Michigan Avenue just before 5 on Thursday morning.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This case perfectly illustrates the real cost of just property excuse and selective outrage that's destroying our communities. Let me break down what happened on Chicago's Magnificent Mile. 7 criminals used a pickup truck, rammed it into a Louis Vuitton store just before 5 a.m. on Thursday morning. They grabbed nearly $700,000 in merchandise and took off in multiple stolen vehicles.
Authorities say the men used 6 vehicles they had stolen over the last month to commit the crime. Cell phone video from witnesses and other video surveillance show a group clad in black using a pickup truck to ram a window open before stealing items from inside.
But this wasn't just a property crime. While fleeing from police in one of their getaway cars, a black Kia driven by Dion Wingard was traveling approximately 77 miles an hour down Michigan Avenue when it slammed into Mark's Honda CRV on Michigan and Ohio. Mark was on his way to work at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where he's been employed for decades. He was 40 years old, excited about having a son, and his girlfriend was literally in the hospital giving birth to their second child while these thugs killed him.
His mother, Alejandra Arceta, opened her heart and her home to speak to us about her baby boy, known to the family as Carloy.
I said, maybe he is a sacrificial lamb. My son is very happy when he got a family, 40 years old already. And I said, it's very unfair.
For years, we've been told it's just stuff when these smash and grab robberies happen. It's just property. It's insured. Nobody gets hurt. Well, congratulations. Now somebody is dead. A newborn baby will never see his father because his dad got killed by criminals fleeing from stealing just stuff. You can't make excuses for this one. You can't say, well, it's just merchandise. You can't downplay this as a victimless crime. A man is dead. A family is destroyed. A baby was born a day after his father was murdered by thugs.
He's healthy, no sickness. And then he will just die like that very fast. It's very hurting. Imagine, only 2 days. I miss him very much already. He got a family.
This is what I've been trying to tell people. When you enable criminal behavior, you make excuses for it. When you refuse to hold people accountable, it escalates and escalates. These weren't just shoplifters who got a little carried away. These were violent criminals who didn't care about anybody else's life. When people do criminal activity, they get reckless. They're not in their right mind. They don't care about red lights. They don't care about speed limits. They don't care about innocent people in their way. They'll take your life without a second thought because they've already decided that what they want matters more than the law. Here's what gets me fired up about this situation. These are the same people who love to talk about karma. When something happens to someone they don't like politically, they celebrate violence against their opponents and call it justice. But when innocent people get killed as a result of criminal behavior they consistently defend, suddenly they don't want to talk about karma anymore. So let me ask you this. Did Mark deserve karma? Did this man who worked for Northwestern Memorial Hospital for decades, who was on his way to work to help people, deserve to die because some criminals just wanted designer bags? Or was he just an innocent person caught in the crossfires of chaos you people enable?
The father-to-be was killed and his wife gave birth to a son shortly after the crash. Chicago police say they did find a loaded gun and ammunition in the getaway car. Defense attorneys say the men all have strong ties to the community.
And where's the community outrage? Where's all the people who love to jump on social media to have conversations about everything else when it comes to holding these actual criminals criminals accountable, everybody goes whisper freaking quiet. No hashtags, no protests, no demands for justice. But let something happen that fits their political narrative and they'll be out there with microphones. The selective outrage is absolutely disgusting. This man's life matters. His family's pain matters, but apparently not enough to break their silence. Let me paint you a picture of the real victims here. Mark Arcadia worked at Northwestern Memorial Hospital for decades. He was 40 years old, excited about having a son. His girlfriend was literally in the hospital giving birth to their second child when he was killed.
Carloy will be remembered by his family as a son, brother, and father to 2 children, one just 17 months, the other born one day after his father was killed. A memorial lies on Michigan Avenue amongst those who walk by, created by his co-workers hours after his death at this very spot.
His mother was talking about how he always wanted a boy and he could play basketball with him. Now that little boy would grow up without ever knowing his father because some criminals decide they wanted Louis Vuitton bags more than they care about human life. 7 men between the age of 19 and 37 are now facing first-degree murder charges. One of them, Alton Jackson, is a 10-time felon who committed this crime while his co-defendant, Anthony Hemphill, was on probation. These aren't first-time offenders. These are career criminals who've been enabled by a system that refuses to hold them accountable.
The hearing appeared to be too much for one of the suspect's pregnant girlfriends. She was rushed to an area hospital after suffering a medical emergency.
This isn't an isolated incident. This is part of a pattern of violence that's been escalating in Chicago and other Democrat-run cities. They've created an environment where criminals feel encouraged, where they know there won't be any serious consequences for their actions. And when you combine that with the "it's just property" mentality, you get exactly what happened here. Criminals who are so reckless, so unconcerned about human life that they'll kill innocent people while committing minor crimes.
The judge said all 7 took part in a concentrated, pre-planned endeavor and ordered them all to be held without bond. The next court hearing is scheduled for next Friday, September 19th.
Notice how the media coverage focuses on the tragedy but won't connect to the broader policies that enabled this. They won't talk about how soft on crime prosecutors and defund police movements create the conditions where this happens. They'll show you the grieving family, they'll tell you about the baby who will never know his father, but they won't ask the hard questions about why Chicago has become a playground for violent criminals. America, I'm going to keep having this conversation even when everybody else is silent. Mark deserves justice. His family deserves accountability. The little boy deserves to grow up in a world where his father's killers face real consequences. But more than that, we need to stop making excuses for criminal behavior. We need to stop pretending that the minor crimes don't lead to major tragedies. We need to start holding people accountable before more innocent people die. This is what happens when good people stay silent and let evil prevail. This is what happens when you prioritize criminals' feelings over victims' lives. This is what happens when we treat crime as a social justice issue instead of a public safety crisis. Mark Arcadia went to work to help people and never came home. 7 thugs decided that designer handbags were worth more than human life. A baby boy will never grow up with his father because we've created a society that enables this kind of evil. We got to do better. We have to do better because the next Mark could be any of us. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.